What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. 5 hours away from the start of the first round, and the Seahawks have decided to add a first rounder. Well, kind of. We may not have a pick today, but we did find a way to add a former first round pick. As of earlier this morning, the Seahawks have signed defensive tackle Robert Nkemdiche, a name that I have not heard in a few years. Didn't think this guy was going to find his way back into the NFL, but here we are. We decided to offer him a 1 year deal this morning. Don't know the exact details of the deal, but I would assume very little, if any, guaranteed money. Pro Football Talk has the article before the first round of the 2021 draft on Thursday. A former 29th overall pick has found a new home. Seahawks signed defensive tackle Robert Nkemdiche, the club announced on Thursday. Nkemdiche was not on a roster last year, and he appeared in 2 games in 2019. So this is kind of interesting. I didn't really see this coming, but you never really see a player like this coming back into the NFL. So Robert Nkemdiche was a super hot prospect coming out of high school. I actually remember this a little bit. When he came out of high school, he was the number one prospect in the nation. He was the highest recruited player of that year. He was right up there with Jadeveon Clowney in terms of how he was recruited. He ended up going to Mississippi. I think he was their highest recruited player since Eli Manning many, many years before. And in college, he never quite got to where it was where he was expected to get. He was good in college. He played well. He had some good games. He had some good moments, but he didn't quite manage to become a top prospect the way some people were expecting. And he ended up going to the Arizona Cardinals in the first round, 29th overall in the 2016 draft. I remember the Seahawks were linked heavily to Nkemdiche in the, I think it's Nkemdiche in that draft. A lot of people thought we were going to take him, didn't happen. And his career so far has been, well, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. 2016, he basically did not play. It may as well have been a red shirt. He basically LJ Colliered it. 2017, he played a little bit, but contributed relatively little. 2018, it seemed like he was starting to get his act together. He played in 10 games. He had 4.5 sacks as a defensive tackle. Pretty good. 32 tackles, 9 tackles for loss. Okay. Seems like we might have something here with this guy. And then he was gone. The Cardinals cut him the next offseason because he failed a physical. I don't know if he got hurt or if he was just overweight. I can't remember exactly what happened, but Cardinals just decided, no, we're done with this. They just cut him. He went to Miami and did basically nothing for 2 games in 2019. He was out of the league in 2020, and now he's back. Apparently, he crushed the workout for the Seahawks. Whatever workout the Seahawks put him through, he crushed it. Now, Nkemdiche is a player who has spent his whole career crushing workouts and then not doing that much in games. So I don't know how encouraging that is. But what I can say about Nkemdiche is that there does seem to be some degree of ability here. This 2018 season is somewhat noteworthy. He, like I said, 4.5 sacks for a defensive tackle in 10 games is pretty good. 32 tackles, 9 for loss. These are the kinds of numbers you would find from a player who belongs in the NFL. And since then, over the last 2 years, I think he's had legal problems too. It's just been a rough ride for him. But if he can figure it out, it seems like he at least belongs on an NFL roster. Now, I don't know if he's actually going to make our roster or not. This could just be a camp body type situation where we bring him in for the preseason and he has very little chance of making the team. But let's talk about this in terms of him being able to potentially make the team or, I guess, latch onto the practice squad or something like that. If we go over to the 53-man roster, as I have it right now over here, I kind of see this as, in a roundabout way, Aldon Smith insurance. Because if Aldon Smith does not play for the Seahawks this year, then that's our backup 5 tech, or at least I have him projected as our backup 5 tech kind of going out the window. That would leave us with Kerry Hyder and Rasheem Green, which would probably mean that LJ Collier would have to play some snaps at 5 tech. Maybe a lot of snaps at 5 tech. Rasheem Green got injured and missed a lot of last season, so you may see LJ Collier take a lot of snaps at 5 tech. I don't like that. I would very much prefer him to stay at 3 tech, but we might just be stuck with him moving back to 5 tech for a lot of snaps. If that ends up being the case, then we have a need at 3 tech, because then our only 3 tech would be Poona Ford. So Nkemdiche would probably swoop in, become the backup 3 tech behind Poona Ford, and that would be his role on the team. One of the pass rushing defensive tackles, somebody who can play on the inside on passing downs, somebody who can spell Poona Ford. And if he can get back to just his 2018 form, and he wasn't amazing in 2018, but if he can kind of get back to that, then it can work. So I got no problem with this signing. It seems like a pretty reasonable deal to me. Again, not convinced he's going to make the team. If he does, this is how I see it playing out. For him to make the team, Aldon Smith needs to get kicked out of the league again. LJ Collier needs to move back to 5 tech, and then he's our backup 3 tech. All right, see you guys in 5 hours during the draft. Peace out. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think about this signing, if you think anything of it at all. Hey, the dude was talented enough to get picked in the first round, so you know he's got the skills. It hasn't translated yet, but we've seen stranger things happen in the NFL than somebody take 5 years to figure it out. All right, see you guys later.